Hey everyone, it's UpDog here, and I am back playing a little catch up here on some of my graphics, my team graphics that I've been doing. So, wanted to show you all about those and kind of go over the new teams that have come out recently. So, let's get into it here. The first up is Secret Warriors. Now, they are really fun, first of all. But number two, what makes them really great is they can beat a lot of teams, but also, normally war teams need a lot of T4s. But this team actually doesn't need nearly as many T4s as a lot of war teams we've had in the past. So that's one positive. Plus, you may have had some of these characters built up, maybe not super high, but at least you're not, if you're a veteran player, you're not starting from zero, from level zero. I can see that how some people, like maybe some mid-game newer players, may not have the characters, may not have had a chance to build them, maybe even not even gotten them to 7 yellow stars yet, which is fine. They've done a great job of, when they have reworks, they give us a ton of shards for the rework characters. So if you're having trouble with getting your rework characters ranked up to star levels, make sure to let me know down in the comments. I will pass that information along to the devs, because after all, I am still the people's envoy, but just haven't been around lately. As far as content goes, my schedule, I'm hoping, is going to start opening up here a little bit, which is why I've had time to do these graphics here for you. So, and if you didn't know, or this is the first time seeing this, I do have all of my graphics on my Discord server, so that is linked down below. Make sure you check that out. I will obviously put those up on the server as soon as this, maybe actually before probably this video posts. So anyway, look out for that. Secret Warriors. And now I do like to, on my graphics, on my team graphics anyway, keep track of what each character does to the enemy, because I always feel like it's helpful, especially if you're maybe trying to theory craft or something, or just trying to maybe learn about the team some, what kind of effects they do to the enemy. Now, I don't really focus on what they do to themselves, like if they get buffs, healing, or whatever. I don't really focus on that for my graphic, just because it's a little bit easier to focus on how do you attack your opponent or the enemy team, whatever the mode may be. But Quake, she got a few little new tweaks to her rework. She's always been about the slows. I believe the disrupt on her special is new. And then the clearing the 2 buffs, I think that was the same as before. The clear all barrier, I'm not sure if that is new or not. I can't remember. I never really played when she was super meta. Like, I played when she was part of the Inhuman team. But I don't know. I don't remember the barrier. The barrier wasn't as big of a deal back then, so I don't remember if the barrier was part of her kit back then. But the ability block on her ult now is new, so that's good. That's a good little addition. And then she will, I think the heal block is new on her passive. She does have like an out of turn passive attack that she does. And then if anybody has ability block, then she's going to lower that crit damage for any of those enemies that have ability block. She's the only one on the team that doesn't ability block, so I don't know exactly. I don't understand why the devs did that, but I don't know. If you think you know, down in the comments, make sure to let me know why you think she has that part of her passive that was added, because that definitely wasn't there before. Yo-Yo, I actually took her to G20 already, just because she's a good plug-and-play character. That offense down from her passive here comes in handy. And then when she's with, well, it doesn't have to be the full team, but the maximum benefit from her passive comes from the full team. She will now reduce random buffs per secret warrior ally. So if she has 4 allies, she's going to reduce 4 buffs randomly with her passive. So that's pretty great. And her basic is always cleared counter, so that didn't really change. Everything else, she's just pure damage, or she's kind of on her ult, she gives energy to the team. So that part doesn't have to do with the enemies. So we're gonna move on to Mr. Phantom Rider here. Now, of course, he's the only new character on the team, so he's gonna have all the goodies going on here in his abilities. We'll start with the passive here. So he also has an out of turn attack. It goes pew 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 with his little 6 shooters, and he clears charges, reduces 3 random buffs by 1 on each enemy that he does his little out of turn passive attack, and enemies cannot gain speed bar. So he's another one of those characters. Now that's just in war, but another one of those characters that shuts down that speed bar mechanic. Like any speed bar like gains, like let's say Scroll or Old Man Logan, just a bunch of characters out there that do that nowadays. And then on his ult, he's going to actually ult and special both include trauma, so that's always a powerful mechanic. He's got a heal block on his ult. He also clears battlefield effects and 2 random buffs per target. So I believe it's battlefield. Let's see, all battlefield effects. So that's the allied side battlefield effect and the enemy side. So everything, no matter what. We'll see here in the Brimstone graphic that Damon only does one specific side. So stay tuned for that here in a few minutes. But yeah, clears all battlefield effects. And then it's a permakill on his ult there as well, so nobody can revive. He also gets a bunch of revives. He's like constantly getting revives, so that's great. His special is pretty powerful as well because he has a stun and trauma, and before he does that, he flips immunities. So that's flipping that immunity is key to making sure that stun lands. So now the only thing to worry about is if the enemy has safeguard, obviously, because you won't be able to flip it. But still a pretty powerful move there. And let's see. Then we got Domino. Now, her kit didn't change at all. She just basically got a stat bump. She does do the disrupt on her ult. She's the one you want to drop on this team if you want to drop anybody. If you don't run around the full team, Domino, I think, is the one to drop. Yeah, just really nothing to write home about for her. Negasonic, she didn't get much of a rework either. She did get a little bit as far as kit goes. So I've heard some people are excited to take her to gear 20. I don't know if I would do that. I think the next character that I'm going to do to gear 20 is going to be Phantom Rider when I get some more gear. But Negasonic, she can't do a lot of damage, so she'd probably be my third option for gear 20. So she always has done this clear all buffs on each target. That hasn't changed. What has changed though is clear defense. Well, the defense up, I'm not sure. I can't remember if that was the case back when she came out, but she also now reduces all buffs by 2 on each target. So that part's new. That part is great. Great addition to her kit. And yeah, so as far as ISO goes, like, I don't think really anybody is a very good candidate for Striker. I mean, you can see the ISO attacks down here at the bottom. I think Phantom Rider is the only good one. His ISO attack's pretty good, especially if you have the Awakened ability. Gives him extra drain. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward there for them. Alright, so next up is Insidious 6. Sinister 6 characters are some of my, like, one of my favorite factions in Marvel. So I'm super happy that they are the new tech team. I think, although the tech team came probably a little bit too early, I think, too soon, maybe. But I'm glad they went with the Sinister Six characters. And if you saw my video on Hobgoblin and his kit reveal, my suspicions have been confirmed. I think he's a great. He could be a great plug and play character. He works pretty good on his own. He works obviously really good with the team, but yeah, he's super great, especially if you have him at high stars, high gear level. I immediately took Vulture to gear 20 when the team was announced, and then I took Hobgoblin and Superior Spider-Man to gear 20 as soon as I got them. So that has paid off, and I don't regret that at all. They've been, and I didn't just do it just because they're one of my favorite factions. I think they're definitely worth it. So, no waste of gear there at all. Vulture didn't get much of a rework as far as his kit goes when this team came out. So, we're going to kind of skip past him a little bit just because he's already a major threat out there, even with other combinations, or you could do like a trio with him and 2 other Superior 6 allies, because he still needs those Superior 6 allies to do his passive where he prevents the speed up and puts slow out there and stuff like that. So the good thing is, though, that Superior Spider-Man is also Superior 6 tag, so you can use him in that trio if you were doing that. But yeah, Hobgoblin, he is just a beast. He flips all buffs on each target on his special. He puts out the heal block and trauma, just like similar to Green Goblin Classic does. Then he also puts out more debuffs on his passive. He reduces speed bar on each target too. So he's, like I said, he's definitely good outside of his team. Shocker doesn't have a lot of things going on where he really has any major effects going on against the enemies. He didn't really get he didn't get any changes, I don't think, on his kit for his rework, but like I said, the only 2 characters I don't have G20 yet is Shocker and Scorpion, just because I ran out of gear. But I think, that's eventually my goal. Scorpion is probably going to be getting the gear next, and then Shocker will be last. But Scorpion's interesting because he has one of those abilities in his passive where it what do they call it? Decay. It decays the buffs if the enemies take damage from bleed. So that's a little bit unique, as far as not a lot of characters have that still. Like, we have Thanos Endgame, we have some mythic characters that do that, but still not a lot of characters out there that do that, which makes him, it could be useful, especially on a bleed team. If we get a bleed room or something to do with bleeds and Crucible, he could definitely be useful there, although his speed of 107 kind of hinders him a little bit, so you might need some protection for that to work, but still has some potential for some theory crafting with him on other teams. And then we have Superior Spider-Man here. He doesn't do a lot of things to the enemies as far as like effects or anything like that. He does do a lot to kind of help support the rest of the team, so that's why he doesn't have a lot of things going on over here. But he does have an ability block. He reduces taunt by 2, which is great. That is something that we don't have in the game from any other characters, so that's pretty cool. He does go fast, so get around that taunt pretty quick, and just lowering dodge chance by 100% for whatever reason. I guess just kind of a counter to just spider characters, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why they did that exactly, but his ISO attack in raids is amazing, gives extra energy so to the team, so that's why he is striker here. You could do skirmisher outside of raids just to make sure you are landing that ability block. Maybe raider, he does have multi-hit attacks as well, but you know, skirmisher isn't bad because when you have a character that goes super early, it's good to get a vulnerable out there, so then some of the other characters going after him can utilize that vulnerable. So, and then Scorpion, he is a pretty good striker just because he puts out bleeds like on every single ability. Because if you have striker, then the bleeds, if you have a striker ISO, then the bleeds will do a lot more damage. So good for raids to be a striker. Probably outside of raids though, it's probably going to be a raider just because he's so slow. So that's the Insidious 6 for you. And last but not least, we have Brimstone. Now where I said, was it Secret Warriors? Where they didn't need a lot of T4s? Brimstone needs a lot of T4s. So if you are low on T4s, I would probably focus on Brimstone team because they are actually even better than Secret Warriors. I just thought of this just now. I want to see a match between Secret Warriors and against Brimstone on defense. So I don't think Secret Warriors wins that, but maybe if Brimstone is low stars, then they can maybe win, but it's going to be pretty tough for him because Brimstone has a lot going on here. So let's go check it out. Hellcat is first up, and I'm only recommending Raider for her because on her basic and her ISO attack, if she crits, then she'll put an ability block out there. So I feel like there's one character, I don't remember who it is, so let me know down in the comments if you know who it is. I feel like there's one character that does ability block on their basic. But, it's Black Panther Shuri, but it's like only in Crucible, I think, or something. But this is anywhere. This is any mode. But she has to crit. So that's why she's a Raider. I mean, you could do her striker, and then because she's ISO attacking, she has 2 chances to get that crit. Maybe that is something to look at, but I think Raider's the best option for her. She's going to put out Trauma, Disrupt, Bleed, and Heal Block on every single, on special and ult and passive. So that's pretty crazy. Kind of reminds me a little bit of White Tiger did this same. She didn't do Trauma, I don't think. Hey, it's been a long time. It's been a long time for White Tiger. But she definitely did Disrupt, like Heal Block. I think she might have had ability block too, but very similar thing going on here. And then on her ult, if the characters are, I can't remember if it's like Blaster and Support or something like that. If there's any of those characters that she attacks, then she'll put out Stun, ability block, and Blind. It's crazy. She's going to be insane. I think, you know, when you kind of look at this team, you think Damon might be like the key character you want to take out first, but I think Hellcat's going to be the one that you want to take out first if you're seeing them on defense. She's also shutting down Speed Bar, shutting down Death Proof, and Speed Up and Assist Now. So she's got a lot going on where she's putting in a lot of work with shutting down the war meta. So she's great. And then also I just remembered to kind of remind you all that the order in which I have these on the graphic is the order I think the positioning should be for the team. So with a taunter like Living Mummy here, you know, I usually put them on the end 95% of the time, and usually put like either the least important character behind the taunter or maybe a character who gets a lot of sustain, as far as like maybe evades or defense up or maybe revive, something like that. So yeah, that's the story on the order of the characters. Doctor Strange, he didn't really get. Let's see, yeah, I don't think he had any changes to his kit at all. Just basically got a stat boost. So nothing new with him. Damon, though, he's got a lot going on. So I'd say Hellcat's the number one important character on the team. Damon's probably number two. They do have a assist each other kind of mechanic, kind of like back in the day when Black Order we had Proxima and Corvus Glaive assisting each other on their turns, so they kind of have that. That's kind of nice, but I don't think it's important to utilize the ISO like we did with Corvus and Proxima, where one's a striker, one's a skirmisher. I don't think it really matters too much. So that's why I kind of left the recommendations how I did. So on his special, he will clear barrier on all enemies and clear all battlefield effects on his team side, his allies' team side. So, of course, there's battlefield effects that only go on certain sides, so just keep in mind that that will happen if you have a battlefield effect on your side, on your team side, that is actually helping you. You might want to consider not doing that, maybe? We'll see. That is if you do drop somebody, which thinking Elsa's probably the one you drop on this team if you drop anybody, so yeah, that's the story with that. So back to the ult here, we have on all targets clear revive once and reduce all buffs by 2, and I believe this ult is also kind of similar to Icarus, where if you kill someone on that ult, then he takes another turn. Now, the way I read the kit, I haven't had a lot of opportunity to test this part of his kit out, but the way it reads is he just keeps on taking turns and taking turns every time he gets a kill. So I'm not sure if that's actually the case. If you've seen it one way or another, make sure to let me know. I might get a chance to work on that this weekend to see if that is the case or how that exactly works. But with Icarus, obviously, it was just if he got a kill, then he just went a second time. But I don't know if Damon just keeps on going and going if he keeps getting kills. That would be pretty OP if that happened. But we'll see. We'll either see or you'll let me know, hopefully. And then on his passive, he shuts down speed gain just like Emma X does. So not speed bar, but speed stat. And resistance cannot be increased except from buffs. So I don't know. Maybe like Miss Marvel Classic might have something where she gets extra resistance for more charges or something. But I'm not really sure why they put that in there exactly. But oh well, it is what it is. And he prevents charges. So yeah. Clear counter for Mephisto, his dad in the comics, and well, maybe not his dad, but Satan, I think, was his dad in the comics. But close enough. And obviously shutting down Odin as well. So Elsa here, she just basically hasn't really changed much at all. She just does the damage. I think her basic does piercing, which is why I usually like to use her basic over her special. Because, first of all, if you T4 it, it'll do a lot more damage than her special. And yeah, it's a pretty good, her basic's pretty good just as a pure damage dealer because it does piercing, it hits a bunch of times, and with her new stats, she'll be dealing out that damage once again. Her ult does do a permakill, and she clears death proof before she attacks, which is good because then you can make sure that if they're low, then they'll die and they won't come back. So And then Living Mummy, this is not a mistake here. We've got... He does not do anything as far as, like, effects to the enemy. He does damage, but he doesn't do any kind of debuffs or rewinds. He doesn't do anything. He's mostly... It's kind of weird. He's like a support, but he's also a tank for the team. So, he heals the team, he gives them buffs, but he doesn't do anything of note or important to the enemy team. So, but his ISO is amazing. He, if he has revive once, he will get counter, speed up, and he'll heal himself, even on his ISO attack. So, on his basic and his ISO, he'll do that. So, really good striker option there for you. And like I said, with Damon, he could be a striker, but I think it's more critical to get that crit and get that kill and get that second attack, maybe third attack, who knows. So yeah, there we have it. That is Brimstone. That's my 3 graphics that I finally got caught up on. I will hopefully have more team graphics for you a little bit sooner. By the time the team comes out, I'm not too far behind on Brimstone. Living Mummy just came out, so I'm not too bad, I guess. I'm sure a lot of people who are free to play don't have Damon either, unless you've been saving your cores. So this one's pretty good timing. I know Insidious 6 and Secret Warriors are a little bit behind, so I do apologize. Like I said, my schedule is opening up a little bit more, so I'm hoping to get back into streaming as well. But I do appreciate your patience and hope you enjoy the graphics. Make sure to check them out on my Discord. And until next time, make sure you spend those resources wisely, and we will see you around.